for a tour of the Steelwatch Foundry.
As if any of us would be so fortunate.
Imagine seeing a watch of power for the first time. Oh, my heart flutters at the thought.
I'd love to see one of them in a fight. A real fight. They crush everyone.
But good armor is hard to find.
Simply as
Whether you're getting hammered or getting nailed, we've got the tool for the job.
Armor to meet my mother and father.
Did you get to look at their gyrometics? Or their targeting modules?
let the man breathe.
No
That
screw
watcher
too
sent him
loose, no
flying.
door too unhinged. My
Did you see how far that watcher threw me?
anything.
Must have been 10 legs.
Yes, darling, it's very
Believe you tried to climb up one, you madman!
Do you not like it?
How else was I supposed to see their
shopping
optics?
for a suit.
Tools,
Dinner with my
all shapes,
parents,
all
remember?
sizes, all prices.
We can't return that.
What I wouldn't give to meet the Gondian who invented the steel watch.
Actually, Gortash invented the steel watch.
We already helped you fix
He
it.
has the most
No, he merely
fabulous
offered
scent.
patronage.
It's
The
perfect.
Gondians built the steel watch.
Yes, but they were Gortash's idea, which makes him the
Told me
inventor.
the armor was
How
involved.
about we settle on the Gondians and
Whether you're
Gortash
getting
invented
hammered
them?
or getting nailed, we've got the tool for the job.
You are not wearing armor to meet my mother and father.
Give up a kidney for a tour of the steel watch foundry.
No screw too
any
loose,
of us
no door too unhinged.
Imagine seeing a watch
My
of power for
tools
the first
can
time.
fix anything.
My heart flutters at the thought.
One of them in a fight.
Darling,
Sorry, chum, can't let you through. Worms Rock's closed for the day. Ordination is what? Lord Gortash is becoming Archduke. All the peers came to pay regards. Valyria? Well, I'm not messing about with a murder inquiry for damn sure. Straight ahead across the bridge. A blind ogre couldn't miss it.
One, you madman!
Kithrak's red dragon.
Halt! We do not know how you gained entry, but your trespass shall not be punished. Lord Gortash has been expecting you.
The Watcher's presence fades, but another takes its place. Confident, dominant, commanding.
My most esteemed guest, we meet at last. I am Lord Enver Gortash. You are the prison bearer, slayer of the dread General Ketheric Thorm. I welcome you to Baldur's Gate, my city. I admire your audacity, but it'll be the death of you. Ketheric had an army of corpses and a crumbling tower. I have a city and an army of steel. It will be better for us both to resolve our differences amicably. And I have the perfect venue for a face-to-face meeting. Allow me to formally invite you to my inauguration. Make your way to the ceremonial hall.
From Gortash. We shouldn't have any more trouble from the
Make
guards.
your way to the audience chamber.
Hells, not this again.
The brain is resisting its orders. Without all three stones to control it, it will soon start acting on its own will.
If it isn't little Will's chums. I hope he hasn't been too much trouble. Heard about his father. The Dead Three's puppet. A travesty, really. He's upstairs in Worm's Rock, ordaining Gortash as Archduke. A splendid shindig, I hear. Perfect for crashing. Go on up. We'll talk after. And bring the pup along, if you can. I'd hate for him to miss the fun. Go on up. Pay Gortash a visit. A fate to remember, I guarantee.
Is expecting you. Please make your way to the audience chamber.
You know, I've always kind of hated this place. Such ado about a damned bridge.
Please make your way to the audience chamber.
It's just a bridge. Is it really more than that?
Please make your way to the
Isn't there something you hate for no good reason?
I dislike owls. Their hypermobile necks are quite disconcerting.
You know what, Lay? I couldn't agree more.
Kinspeople, Baldurians, and dearest Duke Ravengard, thank you for joining me on this exceptional day.
It's him. Gortash. This is it. I can practically taste his blood from here.
The tiefling is letting her passions get the better of her. The situation is delicate. Do not be swept up in her emotions.
So we bide our time. But make no mistake, that monkey is mine.
A moment, please, my friends. An old acquaintance has come to pay her respects. Please, Karlak, come and say a proper hello.
My respects! You're lucky I've agreed not to shove my boot up your...
Ah, how I've missed your colourful turns of phrase. We must catch up just as soon as I've had words with your little friend. As for you, I understand congratulations are in order. Thorm's defeat hasn't gone unnoticed. You're known for who you are and for that netherstone that you carry. The quakes are a clear warning. If nobody steps in soon, it'll free itself from the authority of the crown. I expect it'll start with turning the Sword Coasts infected. You among them. That prism of yours won't last indefinitely. Next, the grand design. The Mind Flayer Empire reborn. If we're lucky, we'll become slaves. If we're unlucky, well, not the most thrilling of prospects, but it's a fate that can be avoided. If you and I come to an understanding, together we can still restore authority over the brain.
Of course. Gortash always did have an eye for opportunity.
There's an old wisdom. A brittle alliance can never be mended. It can only break. With Ketheric gone, Orin proved treacherous. Baal's chosen wants the Netherstones for herself. She only cares for blood. And your blood and mine are of particular interest to her. Orin changes shape faster than you and I change clothes. You know, she's tricked you before. She's targeted me as well. I'm well protected, but she's extremely good at what she does. If Orin obtains all 3 Netherstones, she'll plunge the coast into chaos and paint the city in blood. I can't let that happen. I want to lead this city to glory, not scorch its earth. I'd like to propose a pact, a divine oath sworn upon spirit and flesh. I do no harm to you, nor you to me. Furthermore, you'll have nothing to fear from my steel watch while our pact stands. Thorm's stone is yours to keep. When you slay Orin and take her stone, you bring it here, so the 3 are united once again. Together we rule Faerun as kings. No, more than kings. Gods. We rule as the Absolute. What do you say? Shall we be allies?
I can detect no deceit. This alliance could serve us well. And if it does not, well, we need not honor it.
Let's be allies, said the viper to the frog.
Gortash's eyes blink in a consistent rhythm. He stands calmly, confidently. He fully intends to share his kingdom with you.
So Ketheric was ready to betray our alliance too. I can't say it comes as a surprise. But you should know this. I initiated this plot. I brought Ketheric and Orin together to create the Absolute. They knew this would only work if we stood united and coordinated our powers. Their ambition blinded them to reason. I don't suffer the same affliction. In short, you can trust me. Perhaps a demonstration of why you need my help will motivate you to make the right decision. Your camp is compromised. One among you is an imposter, a faceless. Who, I can't say. I'd suggest a thorough investigation. You'll find I speak the truth.
A doppelganger, hidden among us. Squaw!
The faceless in your camp is like a knife at your throat. Remove it quickly, or any alliance between us would be exceedingly short-lived. Even horror has a home. Find her nest and slay her there. For all its charms, Baldur's Gate has long had a cancer at its heart. A hidden temple devoted to Baal. That's where Orin became what she is, where she worshipped and schemed. And now, it's where she hides from my watchers, when she's not spilling blood in the streets. You're resourceful. I trust you'll sniff it out. If the trail goes cold, follow the bodies. First, Orin the Red, bloody dagger of Baal, causes panic in the streets through killings in the Absolute's name. Next, the threat of the Absolute's monstrous armies formed by Merkel's general, Ketheric Thorm. In such circumstances, people crave strong leaders. Leaders that bring law, order, and protection. Leaders like me, Bane's unyielding hand, author of justice. You are soon to witness the people of Baldur's Gate granting me complete power over them, all out of fear of the Absolute. Next, we will declare curfew and begin infecting the masses. Our subjects will hear the voice of their absolute God. The faithful will do anything in the name of their God. Our tyranny, and we are saviors, defenders of the Sword Coast. Our loyal subjects will love us, not hate us. What comes next will be entirely their fault. Powerful connections. Let's leave it at that. Soon. First, come and be witness as I make history. The first Archduke of Baldur's Gate. You will follow me, and you will show due respect. Distinguished dukes, patriarchs, dearest Ravengard, I will heed your call. A new chapter begins.
Enver Gortash, swearest thou by Balduran's blade to defend the citizens of Baldur's Gate from enemies within and without?
I swear.
Swearest thou true faith and fealty to the same, by word, deed, and decree, so that none may suffer?
I swear.
Gathered guests, grant ye consent? Enver Gortash, the Council appoints you Archduke of Baldur's Gate.
My friends, the Steel Watch stands ready. Let its blade fall on any who would diminish our city. And you, honored guest, will find me in my office above when you return. Do not come empty-handed.
So there you have it. Lord Enver Gortash in all his glory. What did you make of him? Not if I get to him first. How could all these people cheer for him like that? Can't they see what a chancer he is? And they expect these big metal monsters to tuck them in at night while the Absolute knocks on the gates. If only they knew the truth. The Dead Three orchestrated all of this. And it's working. I wish this city, the people running it, were smarter than me. Gortash isn't their salvation. He's the monster at the gate.
An imposter in our ranks. If this is true, it could be anyone. You, me, well, Not me, I know who I am. Perhaps we shouldn't take Gortash's word for granted. But if he speaks the truth, we need to be careful. Orin could have eyes and ears on us right now.
Our camp houses an imposter then. Say nothing. Trust no one. Not even me. Voss has done his duty. Now, we will do ours. We must find our way to the House of Hope and take the Orphic Hammer. When we next enter the Astral Prism, we will use the hammer to break Orpheus free. Vlaakith's left hand and her right. Commander of all dragons, chosen of the Queen Regent. Not since Vlaakith I has a Bart to Vlaakith been anointed. Another empty promise. Only a naive fool would believe otherwise. The kind of fool I was not so long ago.
Generals and dukes. We're not even pawns, just dust on the board. What happens next is out of our hands. I spoke to a witness who says you
Are the gods truly this petty? Did you want something? If not, I'm perfectly happy to just gaze upon you a while.
Telling you.
Nah, they're harmless. Except if you're a criminal of yours.
Mistake. He wasn't even hurt.
better. I almost believed
That's
you
why
this time.
nothing's gonna happen. We'll tell them what happened, and we'll be home in no time.
You've been seeing that for ages, and we're still here.
Let's rehearse.
What are they waiting for?
Pretend I'm a fist and
I
tell
don't
me
know,
what you were
dear.
doing in the house.
I don't know.
Well, you're...
All we can do is be patient.
We broke down the door because it sounded like somebody was in trouble.
The house was on fire. We were rescuing people.
What did I tell you? A momentous occasion. I'm sure you agree. And to think, the drama's just started. You see, Gortash has had Will's father relocated. To his death, the way I hear it. Such a shame. And to think, there's no way to save him. Or is there? I know enough. Let's talk to Will in your camp. Work something out. The Duke's life depends on it.
Tadpole quivers, revealing your discussion with Mazora to Will.
Shit. Father's been taken, and Mazora started to scheme. By all the hounds of the hells, what is she planning? Certainly not. But she's as inevitable as Torril's path around the sun. We'll have answers soon enough. Let's talk to Mazora. Until then, may my father keep safe, whatever coop he's been flown to.
Sorore surge, testis esto pacti me. Come, sisters, be my testament. Notum sit in beator.
Notum sit in beator.
Holy hells.
I come to bargain. The hells demand witness.
Your parasite links with Will's, and your memories flow into him. He sees his father's flight from Worm's Rock, and hears Mazora's words to you.
Shit. Where did Gortash send my father? How do I save him?
Sisters.
Infernus contractus te vocamus. Infernos contractos te vocamus. Infernos contractos te vocamus.
Your contract, Will. Signed in blood, forged in fire, bound in bone, but not unbreakable. A life for a life. No contract is ended without sacrifice. The cost must be paid. Will Ravengard, a choice is before you. Option 1. I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me and the Archdevil Zariel in a pact eternal. Option 2. I break your pact and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and Baldur's Gate loses its greatest champion. Name your sacrifice.
Bloody Zariel. I won't let her take Will.
Silence, Karlak.
Mizora, you arsehole!
Choose. Addendum F. The Absolute must be avenged for the Soulbinder's detention at Moonrise. The Soulbearer retains his gifts until such time as the Absolute is slain.
You damned wretch. Do it then. Claim my soul for Zariel. Keep my father safe.
Fiat ita.
Fiat ita. Anima ad beator.
Seems you've got a new mission, pup. Go save your father. He's locked in a very nasty place. Gortash's secret command center and prison. Lucky for you, I know the way in. I'll mark your map. After all, a deal's a deal. You know what? I think I'll stick around. Not for the greater good, you understand. Just for the entertainment.
Twice Mazoras held my feet to the fire, and twice was I burnt. But my father will live. We will return the Grand Duke to his people. And forever a devil's leash will choke me. Sometimes, fate closes a door for good. The bolt is fastened, the key is destroyed, and a wish is forever locked away. The hells will take my soul. I'll make my peace with it. I have once already, after all. Besides, there's no time to wallow in self-pity. More than anything, I'm elated that there's hope yet for my father. We should hurry to this mystery prison and retrieve my father before Mazora tries pulling more tricks. This prison's in the lower city. Let's move. We will knock him out if we need to, or restrain.
Your skull vibrates in concord with the astral prism.
Bring me to your Duke. I will shield him, as I shield you.
Why would you do that?
Better to bring him into the fold than to leave you distracted by regret.
Well then, I'm not about to say no. What else is on your mind?
Why the stunned face? You look like you've seen a devil. The pup dug his own hole, darling. I merely supplied the claws. I've always been the giving type, after all. To wit, go to Gortash's secret prison, and I'll help you spring Will's daddy free. Of course, you could always leave him to rot, but that would make Will's sacrifice worthless, and I know you wouldn't want that. Focus on the elder brain. I'd hate to clog that infected head of yours with needless details. Now, you know what they say about curiosity and cats. Ugh, you are an inquisitive one. I'd have thought you'd figured by now. Zariel found new use for an old battle axe. The dead three in that bulging brain of theirs are a threat to more than this trifling city, you know. Savor her company. Who's to say when Zariel might change her mind? My mistress can be so capricious. The 9 hells of Beator. Each its own domain, each with its own archdevil to rule it. I call the first hell my home, Avernus, my mistress Zariel's realm, a torrid battleground split by the bloody waters of the Styx. How I adore it, the delicious agony of it all. The other 8, well, they are pleasures unto themselves. Perhaps I'll show you myself, if I deem you worthy. Correct. I didn't. If you must know, I was scouting the cultists on behalf of Zariel, but those cursed shadows were thick enough to fell even a half-fiend. I woke in that damned pod. It kept my body sealed and my most powerful magic silenced. But a brave, kind, benevolent soul set me free. gallantry isn't dead after all. Why? I'm supplying Will with every scrap of his infernal power. I've paid my dues many times over. I tell you what, when the time comes to squish that big baddie of a brain, I'll lend you a hand. Like I said, I'm the giving type.
Come to bask in the glow of the Moon Maiden's sword? Be most welcome.
Keeping very well, I hope? Look after my angel, of course. She's been through more than I can bear to think about. 100 years in the Shadowfell. 100 years being murdered by Sharans over and over. It fills me with a rage I can hardly contain. She's a formidable woman, my Aelin. But no one could escape such horrors unscathed. She's in my hands now, and I intend to help her through whatever's to come. We'll both of us stand by you when the time comes to put down the horror that threatens this city. We are your allies, for life. I mourn the man I knew. He was wonderful. He raised me To serve Selûne as my mother, rest her soul, had wished. He was everything to me, all my life. When an emissary of Selûne came to our little town, we were elated. Dame Aelin, daughter of the Moon Maiden herself. This was different. It was like I could see my fate in her eyes. Lucky for me, she felt the same way. But my father was skeptical. Aelin is immortal, after all. I understand it's strange. There's an imbalance between us, certainly. But I suppose loving Aelin felt the same as loving myself. It was natural. Then... And this is where I still need answers. I died. I'm not sure how, why, but all was black, black. Next I knew, I was being jolted awake. I smelled musty air, I saw shadows. And then my father's face. So changed. So hideously warped. He told me we'd be together now. Said Aelin was dead. I couldn't speak. Could only run. I found last light within the shadows. Made a shelter there. Prayed my father wouldn't find me. By the time Jaheira came, I'd pieced together just enough to know I'd been dead 100 years. That my father was the source of the horrors that plagued my home. He's gone now. But I suppose the man I knew died when I died. The man he became, that wasn't the father I knew. The one I loved so very much.
It can't have been easy for Will to resign himself to the Pact. But I'm glad he chose his father. Very serious of you. But go ahead. Well, don't stand in ceremony. Come here.
Of course.
Nervous, perhaps? When we entered Worm's Crossing, it felt like it might be the beginning of the end. Whatever happens, I'm glad it's with you next to me.
I can't believe Will's given up his soul to Zariel. For a father he fell out with ages ago. There's such a thing as being too good. Someone ought to tell Will Ravengard.
That preening vulture seems intent on haunting our camp. I suppose we shall find out if her kind sleep, and how heavily. Will is a good man, and that is exactly what his devil will use to bind him, in as many ways as she knows how. A man might twist himself into something else just to escape that collar, but I have no such fears for the blade. There might be, but it's not a path I tread until we must. Let it wait until the city proper. Perhaps I'll have had a better idea by then. Ask it. I've learned not to unpick the legends so many have woven around our name. Seeing the hope die in a romantic's eyes, it is only funny the first few dozen times. Some call the Harpers heroes. Others, petty meddlers who cannot help but stick their nose into every conflict they stumble across. The truth is in there somewhere. We try to work towards a common balance. If every other faction finds us equally annoying, that is probably a sign that we are succeeding. You might say that. I left their service and swore never to return. Multiple times, if I recall. It is easy to get tired of the intrigue. The high causes shrouded in secrecy. I thought I might find another way to be of use to the world. And for a time I did. But my comrades would use a rather irritating phrase. A harper never leaves the chorus. She simply goes to spread the song. Meaning that whatever cause I turned my hand to, there I would find them. Harpers, stuffed with their own virtue, but always there, always trying to help. So I returned to the fold, returned to the city. Eventually they hung a title around my neck, High Harper, and I still do not know how to play one. If I tried to spare Geraldos the same headaches, well, now you know why. And if he is half the Harper I suspect, it won't make a damned bit of difference. But you're staring. Which means the tadpole has finally eaten your brain. Or have I been talking too much? Either way, time to move, no? Ha! No. No, thank you. Let the wiser members of my order wrinkle their brows over that particular phrase.
In all my years fighting for the Harpers, I am still never certain what the greater good means. I've learned to be content with, well, that was not so bad as it might have been. You speak of a battle more than a century past. Baal's minions led us through a maze in the Undercity, older than Baldur's Gate itself. We paid little mind to the path ahead, let alone how we might return, or that we would return at all. Still, the Undercity shifts. We might search down there. Or better yet, find a ballast to lead us.